Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Jerry West along with Michelle McPherson.
Hey there.
This is SEO Beer Tuesdays, the podcast, which was just gaining a ton of traction. And then we took a long extended vacation for really reasons unknown. But hey, we're back and we've got two subjects we want to go ahead and handle. One, Matthew Woodard, who's over in the UK. Brilliant SEO, in my opinion. I've followed his stuff for a long time, especially in the black hat arena. He shares my philosophy that you cut corners. There's no reason to have a 3-hour training video when you can cover all the information you need in 18 minutes, and that's exactly what Matthew does. What he released today was a way to use Google Analytics to figure out if you've been manually reviewed by a manual reviewer from Google, whether or not you'll get a penalty. And I was talking to Michelle about that because I was running it on all of our sites, and you came up with something extremely insightful.
Why, thank you. So I've seen...
I was drinking my beer as I asked that question. By the way, I want to thank our sponsor.
Who is it today?
Our sponsor is Chimay, the best beer, in my opinion. Well, right there with Westmalle in Belgium. This is Chimay Blue, and it comes in with in a nice sized bottle. It's says it's 1 pint and 9.5 ounces. So that's not too bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it comes, it's bottled like a champagne bottle. So you've got the cork and then the wire mesh on top. So when you pop the cork, it's like popping a bottle of champagne. It's pretty badass.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's our sponsor. All right, so repeat what you said to me in terms of I ran this on all of our sites. Here's the deal. Is I ran this on over 100 of our sites, and only one came up with a manual review. Just one.
Yeah, and we know that more than one of our sites has had a manual review in the last, 5-10 years. So there's something missing there. So, my theory on it and what I think is that tools like this or ways of identifying referrers and user agents and tools that may have been run on your site and things like that may catch certain types of manual reviews that use those specific tools and that haven't bothered to go through a proxy or haven't bothered to adjust the user agent. But that just as we get smarter, Google gets smarter. So they're going to continue to change the way that they do things, change their processes. So you can take something like this, like what Matthew published today, give it a whirl. I wouldn't stress over it that much. I sure as heck wouldn't say, oh, nothing came up in my analytics after I used Matthew's
I'm good.
His little script. So I'm good. Yeah, I've never been reviewed. I'm never going to be reviewed. Life is good. It just means that they haven't used those specific tools in looking at your site. And that's the way I see it. And therefore, I also don't feel like it's worth a ton of time to worry about that kind of thing because you don't know what Google's doing. You don't know what they're going to do in 2 weeks or in a month's time. So just keep doing what you need to do to make your site look like real company shit.
Exactly. That's the old Will Reynolds adage that he coined. I think 7-8 years ago. But yeah, so in a nutshell, this is what Matthew has you do, and to find it, just Google Matthew Woodard, and you'll find it. It's on his blog. Definitely someone you want to follow. He's over in the UK, so he'll have that funny accent, which sounds so awesome, right?
I learned from his video today too that he has a tongue ring, so there's that. He
has a major tongue ring.
I didn't notice it until today, and a lot of my feelings have changed about him.
Yeah, so I think it's new.
Save that for another podcast.
So he must have a partner which maybe corralled him to get that, which is awesome. Hey, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what life is about. Have a good time.
That's right.
this is what he did: is he found all the sub agents and the companies Google has outsourced to do all the manual reviews. They don't have the 50,000 that they had way back in the day, just because now they're a public company, they can't afford that, so they scaled back a little bit. But yeah, these are the ones he lists. So you go in and you do a brand new segment, and you pour these in, and you hit go, and then it goes. And we go back 10 years, so we went back to 2009 to figure out, because that's 2009 to 2012 will still be the greatest 3-year period in internet history, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we did. We did a 10-year capture to make sure no manual reviews occurred. But what's great about GA, if you have an account with a whole bunch of different accounts in it, not accounts, but sites, you go in, and once you set it all up, you just hit the down arrow and choose copy. And what happens is once you copy that, you go to the next account, and automatically it'll load up that exact screen and dump even the date frame will come back too. That was awesome. That is why I got through over 100 sites in less than 30 minutes. It was
you just click.
Yeah. Now I will tell you, the only site that we had tagged, which was May of last year, was an article that I wrote about Donald Trump. So I don't know if it was a politically motivated as the reason why it was reviewed. It did get a lot of traction. It did go semi-viral at the time that it was written. I wrote it with a pen name. It wasn't my name, so just cool your jets. You can't go into Google, do a search for my name and find it. I'm not that stupid. Pen name, and got some traction. I just looked at the stats, and it's still getting over 100 views a day, which is not bad. Back then, it was getting between 3,000 and 5,000 views a day, which was pretty awesome. So that could have been why it got tagged. But of the whole site, I have over 4,000 posts on that site. And yes, it was an expired domain. And yes, it's doing extremely well. So yeah, anyone who says expired domains completely suck and you can't keep them going is lazy, and they don't know how to rebuild sites. It's, I'm sure you guys had my PBN course. Go through it again, and I cover completely how to do that. But yeah, out of 4,000 pages, that's the one that they pick, and the time spent was less than 2 seconds. I said less than 2 seconds. It was 2 seconds. So I believe what they do is they go and they save the page for browsing offline. That's my theory.
So the tool goes and scrapes the page or picks up the page.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what happens. They go through and they scrape it and they grab it, and then they do a check offline, just so there's no footprint on that. They spent 4.5 minutes on this page.
Yeah.
That kind of, anyway, that's not fact. That's just theory. Now, a good friend of mine out in LA, he had the site that was just killing it. And then about 2 years ago, it took a massive dive. And we found by using this process that back in 2015, he got 4 manual reviews within a 3-day period.
Jeez.
Now, yeah. So the question is, he got reviewed in 2015, but he didn't get the penalty or the knockdown. It wasn't really a penalty. I mean, yeah, it could be a penalty, but he lost a ton of rankings. But it happened a year later. So that also makes me scratch my head and think, are there other things in play here? Do they look at it and just do a little bookmark and say, okay, we're gonna check this again? But again, it didn't come up. But your issue, I think, is true, Michelle. They use a proxy to come back and look at it again, and they realize, okay, nothing's changed on the site. We'll go ahead and nail it now.
Yeah, we definitely can't see all the times that they come and check our site. No way.
Yeah, because I'll tell you this, is there are sites that we built that was completely out of out of spam. It was. I would discuss this openly with Matt Cutts all the time at PubCon.
Mm-hmm.
We had great conversations. He would tell me, okay, what exploit have you figured out? And oftentimes I would say, I figured out a great one and it's still working. So I won't talk about that, but I'll talk about this one that got closed, and we'd have a good laugh.
Sure.
What was great about Matt, and it really sucks his wife died, but what was great about Matt, here's the difference between Matt Cutts and John Muir. Matt understood the algorithm better than anyone I felt that was a somewhat public figure with Google. I mean, he had the computer science background. He had the personality and the charisma. He really did. I mean, he would go out and talk to a ton of people.
Going and meeting people and talking about the algorithm because he understood it and it was interesting to him.
Oh, yeah. And he loved talking with people and helping people. Now, there are people who would push, his good nature to a point where he'd get pissed.
Sure.
I remember I was talking with Matt, and this guy I actually knew, had a recorder hanging from his neck, and Matt took exception because he goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "You're recording without my consent." He goes, "Oh no, it's a red light. That means it's not recording." And Matt's like, "What do you think? I am stupid?"
Yeah.
Red means it's on.
Yeah.
And Matt walked away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that kind. Yeah, it's that kind of. Yeah, he wasn't going to put up with that. Going back to this whole situation, run through not Matt.
Matthew.
Yeah,
he's a Matt too. Yeah.
Again, our sponsor is Chimay Blue from Belgium.
Give it a try, guys. We have one satisfied customer on the line.
All right, so
and then we wanted to go and talk a little bit about something else that's come up recently around manual reviews.
Oh, thank God, because I couldn't remember what it was we were going to talk about next. So thank you, Michelle.
Yeah. So it has to do with our star reviews that a lot of us use and that show up in the SERP. So do you want to talk a little bit about how you heard about this being an issue, Jerry?
Yeah. So a good friend of mine who's very, very proficient in some very high volume sites. We're talking between 25 and 35 million visitors a month. And what he did, because he came in as an outside consultant, so he's not an actual employee of the company. They basically hired him as a hired gun, if you will, to go through and take over the competition. Of course, I can't mention the company he's working for. It is a company that I would say at least 60% of the listeners would have heard of it.
Easily 60%, yeah.
Easily 60%.
You're a giant.
And they said, look, we don't care what you do. We just want to beat our competition.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a budget. Here's how much we'll pay you. Go. And we don't want to know how you did it. So the first thing he did was he did schema markup to go through and give star ratings to the actual landers where people could buy the product. And he would manufacture ratings. Now, he would never do all fives. All fives looks too suspicious. He would do 4s or 4.5s. 4.5s, he said, converted the best. He also tested 5s, and it didn't convert as well because, look, not everyone's going to love you. Even if you're completely awesome, people are still going to hate your guts, you know?
Absolutely.
It's just this way it goes. So he got a manual review, went to GSC, and there's a manual review that we detected unnatural schema in terms of reviews on your site.
Say what?
Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm hoping no one else sees this. And so he called me up and said, what should I do? I go, well, the only option you have, it's my famous TSA example. And, if you've heard this, just go ahead and shut it off for 3 minutes. Those who haven't, it's this. When I go to the airport to travel, And if I wear my 6 a.m. or Pink Floyd t-shirts, I get pulled aside for an extra security check. It happens every single time. Yeah, in fact, my girlfriend was with me. And I told her, because I was actually wearing my 6 a.m. shirt. Love Nikki 6. So I'm like, I'm going to be pulled for extra security. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, because of the t-shirt. She's like, why did you wear it? I go, I forgot. She's like, there's no way you'll get pulled over for extra security. I'm like, all right. So of course we go through it, and we've got clear, and we have pre-check. So, and we also have, it's one for the foreign. I don't know, that one doesn't matter, but.
You should be breezing through with all that. Yeah.
We get priority access when we go through security. Sure enough, they pull me aside. Sir, you've been randomly selected to have extra security. I've got friends who are from the Middle East who are now U.S. citizens. They go, dude, every time I go to the airport, I always get the random pick for extra security check. So yeah, so I get pulled, and so she looks over, she's like, really? I go, yeah. He goes, sir, are you traveling with anyone? I go, yeah. I'm traveling with her. Yeah, I threw her under the bus. Traveling with her. And then she got an extra check. But if I show up in a plain t-shirt or a suit, sometimes I shit you not, sometimes I wear a suit to the airport. I get blown through. I get blown right through.
Yeah.
It's almost like they don't even want me to stop. Just take your shit and get out.
Right.
But if I match anything that seems to be suspicious, I get pulled. The same thing is true with the manual review. It's going to happen. I don't believe that 1 out of 100+ sites I checked got a manual review. I know it's a lot higher.
Especially over that many years. Absolutely.
Yes. In 10 years, really? I've had one site and one page for
one page on one site. Yeah.
There's no way only one page of review. And again, that was about Trump. I swear to God, if I didn't write that article, it would have been 0, which would have been complete bullshit and a huge red flag. But here's the whole thing. You're going to get manual reviewed. It will happen. And what you want is, you want to be the person in the plain t-shirt or the suit through TSA that gets waved through. Not the one with a Pink Floyd t-shirt who gets pulled for extra security. That's the last thing you want, is to be extra scrutinized. And that is exactly what I believe what happened with him, is they received extra scrutiny because they went to the page, they checked one page. In fact, when this came out, I went through and had him do Matt's process, and sure enough, he got one page reviewed on the entire site, which has like 4 million pages indexed. And that page had the schema markup with the review stars, but there was no option on the page to leave a review. So what is that? That is a Pink Floyd t-shirt moment. Really? You have 4.5 stars as reviews, but you don't have a way to leave a review?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to have you step aside here for the body cavity search.
Yeah. Now we're going to, what could have been a 5-second manual review, for whatever reason it popped up, but okay, we've got stars, we've got a way to submit them, everything looks okay, case closed, turned into a full body cavity search.
Exactly. It turned into several minutes and maybe even longer because of the size of the site, and plus because it was a well-known brand. And look, here's the deal. If a well-known brand gets the shit kicked out of them, what will happen to you? Right?
You're just going to disappear.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's a reason why Vegas was built where it is, because it's 400, or like what was it, 4,000 square miles of places to bury bodies, right? So our opinion, look, we do white hat, we do black hat, because the only way to compete in the market is you've got to do black hat. If you don't, there's no way you're going to compete with the companies that do 500 million in ads a month. It's not going to happen. But here's the deal. If you don't walk the walk and showcase that there's a way for people to leave reviews, yet you give yourself 4.5 stars. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you're going to go through and get dinged. So what we do is we have an actual process where we have an option for people to leave a review, but we give qualifiers. For example, we state you must be 18 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next one, Michelle?
You must be in the financial industry, that kind of thing. You must be
of the industry of where you're doing the promotion.
Yeah, so we say that, you must be a U.S. citizen because some of the things that we work with are only available in the U.S., so it wouldn't make sense for somebody elsewhere to be leaving a review.
Right, and if you're in the EU, the same thing. You must be in the EU. If you're outside, go fuck yourself.
Exactly.
We also put in there, you must be a client of ours and must have done business with us in order to leave a review, and we will match your name and your email address with our database. If you do not match, we will not publish your review.
Yeah.
The reason why all these options are necessary is because, look, it probably won't happen. But if the manual reviewer just goes through and posts just a fake review, if you will, just to see if it gets published, but they go and they find the review page, and we make them check the boxes. I certify.
Yeah, that I am 18 years of age.
I certify I am your client and you are in our database, on and on. They look at that, they go, oh shit, I don't match any of these. Okay, I'll go ahead and leave now.
Yeah. So should a manual reviewer go in and submit the form, which we don't have any evidence that they do, but again, we're doing real company shit. We're just making sure that everything looks correct. Should somebody submit that form who's a manual reviewer and they find that their review didn't get published, well, there's a reason for that. It's because they haven't done business with us. So it doesn't raise any other or additional red flags.
Exactly. I have to share this with you, Michelle, because our sponsor, Chimay,
mm-hmm.
makes not just great beer, but high alcohol content.
Is that right?
Yes, because I'm in a location where I don't have my professional microphone set up, so I'm on my Apple, my MacBook Pro here that has an internal mic. But I also have on my desk this high grade scanner, which it's an overhead scanner. Just so you know, I've been leaning over and speaking into the overhead scanner with the microphone. Swear to God. Oh, wow. Too bad there wasn't a camera available. This would have been absolutely perfect. Yeah.
I would like to see this. Yes.
That would be good.
That's awesome.
Yes. All right. So we've covered two great things about manual reviews and keep yourself clean. This is not about, putting you in a corner and telling you how you absolutely have to run your business. This is a way to get through TSA as quickly and as safely and as unscathed as you can.
Absolutely.
For Michelle McPherson, this has been Jerry West with SEO Beer Tuesdays. We will be back next week. Talk soon.
Bye-bye.